This is mainly a sheep shearing clipper. It's got a sheep head on it. It's got a different head. This is basically primarily for shearing sheep with long wool. So this works fine on clipping lambs like this, getting the wool down. It works with this blade on it. It works okay for showing. But if you're going to primarily shear for show, you need either a finer comb than that on those, like a 23 tooth, that's a 20 tooth comb, or you need a set of clippers with a head more like this. This is a pair of blister clippers. It's got an A5 or an A2 head on them, this is a surgical set of clippers. It's going to clip a lot closer than that. And ideally, you want to clip the lamb as close to show day as you can. So, you know, if in this program, we've got to get a bunch of lambs clipped. So if we can get them clipped the week of the show, that's good. But if you were going to show this lamb tomorrow, shearing him today would be the ideal time to clip him, or first thing in the morning, and take him to the show, because that's when he's going to feel his freshest. That's when he's going to be his cleanest. And the hotter the day, the longer the week, the less fresh that lamb will feel. So his freshest point in his life as far as getting ready for this show is going to be the day you clip him. So then you try to maintain that freshness by several different things, by hydration, by products that you can put on them, which will keep them moist and keep them fresh. That's what some of this stuff is. I'm going to clip them with them. Get them on the stand. A lot of times you get the front feet started. And they'll jump right up. You hold their head still. And that just kind of holds him in place there. These can be used if you like this project and you're going to continue to show lambs and you really like it. I would say invest in a stand and invest in a set of clippers. If you're going to do primarily show lambs, I'd get a set of clippers more like that, or you can buy this same set of clippers with a different head on it, which will shear better for show purposes. But this is you'll shear the same way with these clippers is what I'm going to show you. This is just a little bit faster. I can go a little faster with these than I can those others.
Tell them what to look for if they're going to buy.
If you're going to buy a set of clippers, first of all, you want to get a decent pair. It depends on how much you're going to show and how much you're going to do this project. If you're leading on into a cattle project or what you're going to do next, either set of these clippers will do both. If you're going to clip calves, for example, you can clip heads with this, you can clip tails with this, you can clip under the bellies with this, you can clip all the long hair with this. You can shear sheep with this, you can shear the wool, you can shear the mamas, you can shear about anything, basically anything with this. I wouldn't advise this on horses. But the only problem with this is a 20-tooth comb. It's got a little bit of a gap in there. So when you set it on, it makes a little bit of a noise, but also it will nick them a little bit, because whatever goes in that little crook right there, in that little crease, is going to get cut. So see, for example, his ear will fit in there. So that can nick his ear. If his ear accidentally goes in there, there's a few places I'll show you as I go where you'll nick a lamb shearing him. These clippers over here will not cut one, so they're a little safer. If the kids were going to shear, I'd say definitely get a set of clippers like that, or get the different head for these, where it will not nick them. But you can shear one really quick with these, and it'll shear them just as close. This lamb's been had his wool clipped before, so he should be pretty still. But sometimes they'll twist and turn and try to step off when you get on him. What he'll do is if he gets to twisting, he's going to step off, and then he's going to jump right back up on it, and then he'll be still. See him? He's figuring it out. You keep him up on there, and then he'll be still. This really helps teach him to be still to show too, because it keeps his head where it needs to be, and in a pretty good position. You can set his feet like you want them to be. That's not choking him. It's just holding his head confined where he can't jump off of here. So I'm going to start right here at his dot. Ease up his back. These blades are a little dull. Remember I told you these will nick them a little bit, so around his private areas you need to be a little bit careful. So in this area back here you want to go away all the time. Just to be safe. So you push them down. Then when you start clipping you go from back to front. You want long lines. You know how all you women will know this. You wear stripes, horizontal stripes or vertical stripes. The long lines will make him look longer. So you want to go from horizontally. In places you'll have to go up and down, but you'll have to go. Primarily right now you want to just get the wool off of them. I always follow with my other hand to kind of pull the wrinkles out. Just kind of let it run right in front. You want to go from hock up. This is his hock. All you kids kind of learned what the parts are. You go from his hock up. You hear them clippers kind of bog down just a little bit. That's because these blades are getting dull. So the cleaner the lamb, the longer your blades will last. I've probably sheared 5 or 6 lambs with these blades or more already. So they're getting a little bit dull. Some work with other lambs. And under here, you want to be careful under here. You just go slowly and clip that wool. Now on their back legs, he's a little shaggy there, so you want to clean that out and show you a little trick. You can push in, and that pushes that hair, that wool out on each side. So you go right here, clean it up a little bit. His little buddy walked off from him. Alright, now I know if you've been reading and looking about show lambs, you've read about shag and wool on their legs. That's what this wool down here is called. They call it shag. So the trend today is to have a more shaggier legged lamb. So people like to have this shag. So that's why you clip him from his hock up. You don't mess with his leg down here. This wool down here, you want to brush it out, clean it up, and keep it. You know, you'll see some of them that are real puffy. That's how they work on that leg wool and keep it clean. Blow it out with a blow dryer. Now, right here is a critical area in shearing a sheep. Because you got his little forearm here and there's some loose skin right there. So what you want to do here is you want to pull that skin back. See how it pulls that wool back? And you'll go down and his forearm up there, you want to just go slow. You don't want to go fast. Because that little wrinkle right there will catch. And again, you want to watch under his belly. If it's a male especially, because he won't like it. Now, this is if you're shearing under his front leg. They've got wool under their front leg. You pick their front leg up, hold it up like this. You see how it exposed that wool? Don't do it with his leg on the ground because it'll get caught in a wrinkle. Either one of these clippers, you pick that leg up. also right here in their neck. They have little wrinkles in their neck, so you want to be careful around their neck. So we're about halfway there. So we've got one side shorn, I guess it's proper terminology. Don't he look better without that wool? Now we're going to move to this side.
I like them fluffy.
It'll grow back. That's the thing about it. It grows back. I'm kind of pulling to keep that pull tight and make it feel a little bit. Front leg you kind of do from the forearm up. I'm going to pull that wool around, pull that skin around. All right, does anybody know the body temperature of a sheep? Y'all figured that one out yet? How much is it?
102, 103.
That's about right. So don't you think he feels better with some of that wool off of him? If it's really hot and you put them outside, they need to have a little bit of wool for protection. But if you were to shear him today and it was 100 degrees tomorrow, I'd try to keep him in the barn for a day or two and let his wool grow back out where he wasn't sunburned. Super hot. So that wool actually insulates them a little bit, but they can get too hot if it gets too long. his head. The head sometimes is the fun part. Some of them don't mind it, some of them do. Be careful around their eyes, but loosen up on his head a little bit so you don't make it easy around their eyes. You want to be careful with these clippers. Try not to drop them. I don't ever leave them sitting like right there, because if a lamb moves, jumps, jerks, they'll knock them on the floor and it'll break some of these teeth. So you're better off laying them down on the ground like that, and then that way you don't drop them and break them. The blades for these blades that are on here are about $50 for a set of blades. Those blades are about 20 or so, but you can sharpen them. You can send them off and get them resharpened. Those blades have probably been sharpened 3 times or 4, so they've been sheared quite a bit. Okay.
Don't let that one go.
I'm gonna shear his head, finish him up. Sometimes I'm gonna let him back up into this wall to help me a little bit. Careful around his eyes. You can hear a little bit. I hold their ears up. This is the hardest part to clip for some people, is getting their heads. Some of them are really aggravating. This one's doing really good. You're kind of going towards your hand, so you have to be careful. These blades won't cut you, but they'll pinch you if you get down in there. I'm going to try to get this wrinkle on his neck. I'm going to let him pull out if he will. See how that wrinkle comes out of his neck with his head down? And it'll wrinkle just a little bit. See that? Well, them bigger blades, sometimes it'll pinch them right there. Those other blades won't. It may scratch them a little bit, but it won't cut them. So you have to, and a lot of times when you buy these blades, and some of you've gone on Amazon and bought them and got a set of clippers like this, they have what's called a 13-tooth comb. This is a 20-tooth comb, and a 13-tooth comb just has less blades in it, which the gaps are bigger. It will be about twice that big. So those wrinkles will go up in those. You really need to be experienced shearing and take your time shearing with those, because they will cut them. Now, a professional shearer, somebody who does this professionally for a living, could have sheared that lamb in less than 2 minutes. They really fly. They set them on the ground and shear them. All right, jump him right back up there, and I'll show them how to do trim their feet.
So you showed on the back feet we stopped with the clip in around their hocks. Where do you start on the front?
On the front, you want to go from the forearm up. And what you want to do is show day. If you go to a show, you're going to see everything. The sky's the limit on these lambs. So some people have blowers, they got fans, they've got big fancy trailers, jackets, they've got everything they need. So what a lot of people are going to do is they're going to take a big hair dryer and they're going to blow this wool and it will stand up and be a little more fluffy. And they'll blow all the loose wool off of them. So see how that is kind of made a line there. You'll want to blend it in. The reason leaving this wool on their legs, does anybody have any idea? Is you want to make their bone look bigger. So you leave the wool, which gives the impression of their leg being bigger. See, his leg is actually that big. But when he's got that wool all the way to the ground, it gives him the impression of his leg being a little bit bigger. So a lot of people like the wool on their legs. Some sheep have it, some sheep don't. That one's got it on his back legs, but not his front legs. They call it shag. When you hear people talking about shag on a lamb, that's what they're talking about. Brace that lamb right there. Now look at the difference in the muscle expression since this lamb has been sheared. You can kind of see the wrinkles in his legs, how he's cut. You see him, he's bracing right there. You can see it a whole lot easier when he's sheared.
So is them legs, back legs too far out?
Just a little bit.
Okay. I'm just asking.
He's breaking just a little right here, so he loosen up on him a little bit. Now watch. Casey, he'll loosen up and let him get his legs up. And he'll bounce him just a little. Some lambs over brace, so you have to work with that. And if a parent's trying to help a kid to stop him, put your hand against his tail and don't let him back up anymore. You can help them set their leg. This lamb really likes to push. He don't always show it, but as a result of him pushing, he's wanting to put his back feet back and push really hard. So he's going to have to learn to stand more like this and push. See? That's what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to back up and push.
But that's a good problem. You'd rather have one that wants to push than one that doesn't, because it's harder to get one to.
You really want him to push, whatever it takes to get him to push first. Now see, don't pull him out too much. See how he feels in a little bit right here better? Now watch him, let him get over braced again. Now watch him, see how that kind of breaks right there?
That's why I asked. I was curious where he wouldn't stretch too far.
And you try to keep his front legs down. But what this lamb's doing is he's just wanting to over brace. That is a good, I'd rather have one that wants to brace too much than not
Can you
enough.
explain to them what that is, because they can't feel it right there.
Okay.
What's over bracing?
Over bracing is him getting stretched out too far.
His front legs and his back legs too far apart.
Too far apart. And when he stands comfortably, see how he's standing? His front leg is pretty much straight up and down, perpendicular to his body. His back leg is kind of at a comfortable position. Now push against him just a little bit. Just ease into him. Now when this lamb wants to push, he automatically jumps back. Now push against him there. Now he's spread out more. See, his front feet are out in front of him. His back feet are a little more. Let him push against you. Spread him out. As he spread out, he broke right in here. That's their hip-loin junction. That's where their loin attaches to their hip. You hear the judge talk about that at a show. Y'all don't need to get too concerned with that right now. As you get better at showing, if you pursue this project more, you'll learn to fix that, and you'll learn to correct that, and you'll learn to pick a lamb that is good in that area. And that's all in picking a show lamb. When you go to picking show lambs who are good, that are very good in all aspects, they get really expensive. So that good hip-loin junction right there is going to cost you a lot of money sometimes to get that fixed in a show animal. But see how he stands normal with his front feet? You ready to go? He feels good. I bet if you turn him loose, he'd take off running.
He probably bucked.
He won't go far.
Play.
Turn him loose.
He won't get away from his friend.
No.
Race him a little bit again there, man. I missed this spot of wool. See where I missed it?
It's gonna cost extra, isn't it?
Let him get fixed. So you can tap him on and make him push. You can kind of see his muscle definition. You can see where he's flexing it. Some of y'all come here and feel of him. Kids, come here and feel of him.
Bring me around.
Touch him right there and feel how hard he is right up here on his rack. Feel how firm he is? Feels different with that wool on. Feel how firm he is? Now feel of him back here on his legs. Touch him right back there.
Okay, it's my turn.
Things kind of be firm. All right, now back up this way. And just relax with it. Let him stand there and relax. He's still hard. This land